All right. What I'm going to go through is, what I'm going to go through is the reference shelf standing order, and what we did last year was that we put the three items that are shown here as being part of the 2017 set: LGBTQ, prescription, drug abuse, and Representative American Speeches 2016-17, as well as the South China Sea, which is from 2018, Alternative Facts, and U.S. National Debate Topic. We put those 6 on a invoice, and you can see that by going to Acquisitions and Vendors and selecting H.W. Wilson and then clicking on Invoices, and the reference shelf is the one that says 345, and we're going to view that. Whoops, actually I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on the number 10. So let's do that one more time. H.W. Wilson, Invoices, and then we're going to click where it says number of lines. And these are the items that we have on last year's invoice. And you'll notice that they say waiting for manual renewal. And what we need to do is actually close these out. And the reason why is because if you look at the funds and ledgers for 2019, and we look at standing orders, we see that we have an available balance of $6.21. And if you open this up and look at the transactions, you'll see that we have an encumbrance for $362 right here, and that was for the South China Sea, and that one was on purchase order 3101, and this was from last year. And actually what I had done was I had instead of packaging the 6 purchase order lines onto one PO, I packaged each purchase order line on a separate PO, and then I combined all of those POs, all 6 POs, onto one invoice. And so, for example, this one is 3101, and you'll see that Alternative Facts is PO 4101, and U.S. National Debate Topic is PO 4102, and Representative American Speeches is PO 2701. So basically there's going to be 6 different purchase orders, and the problem is that they say waiting for renewal, and the issue is that I don't have enough money in our standing order fund for 2019 because these got carried over to this year for some reason. And if you look at last year's budget, so I'm going to go to fiscal year 2018, you'll actually see that they the amounts were expended, and they show up here in this amount, and you can tell that by looking at the transactions, and you'll see that we have an expenditure for 360, and this is the LGBTQ one. 361 is the prescription drug abuse. 353 is the Representative American Speeches. 362 is South China Sea, and 514 is Alternative Facts, and 515 is U.S. National Debate Topic. And it did count this money toward last year, but the status says waiting for manual renewal. So that's basically what we're going to do first, and then we can create the purchase order lines for this year. And I think what I'm going to do for this year is just package them all on the same PO and then associate that PO with an invoice. So we're going to go to our funds and ledgers, and we're going to, this is 2019. So I'm going to click standing orders, transactions, and what I need to do to close these things out, I believe, is just to go over here. Nope, can't do it there. I'm going to have to click on purchase order line. Nope, can't do it there either. Let's see. I think, okay, we have the purchase order line number is 361. So I should be able to search by order line and PO line. And then click on waiting for manual renewal. And then click on edit. And then I'll have the option to close. I don't want to delete it. I just want to close it. So it'll change the status from waiting for manual renewal to closed. And it'll ask me if I want to continue. And it says updated and in status closed. And what you see that happens to your funds and ledgers is now we have $57 more money in this year's standing order because it was sitting there at $6 and now available balance is $63.71. And we have to have enough money in here because when you add a purchase order line, it's going to give you an error message if you don't have enough money in the account. You won't be able to finish creating the purchase order line. So that's why we need to close these things out. So go back here and look at our transactions. And so far we did 360 and 361, and we have 353 right here. And we're going to click on that link, and up here where it says order lines, PO line, we're going to enter 353. And when this page comes up, we're going to click on edit, and then we're going to click on close to change this from waiting for renewal. And now it'll say that it was updated and closed. The other thing what it's doing is for fiscal year 2019, you notice that the ones that we just did, 360, 361, and 353, they all say disencumbrance right now. So we disencumbered that money, and you'll see that for our available balance for standing orders, it just went up to 121. So I'm just going to do one more. So 362 was the South China Sea. I'm going to click on that link there, and that tells me the thing still says waiting for manual renewal. I'm going to search by order line and PO line, and then click waiting for manual renewal, and then click edit, and then click close, and it'll give me the confirmation message. I'll click confirm, and it'll say that it updated itself, and then you'll see right here it says disencumbrance. And one other thing I want to point out that I noticed was that you'll notice that when you're doing and I did print book standing order, but I think that should say monographs. But at any rate, at the bottom of the page, it forces you to enter a renewal date, because you can tell by the red asterisk, and it also forces you to give it a reminder period. So you cannot actually save this purchase order line that you created, that's a standing order purchase order line, unless you give it a renewal date. And so that's why it gives you the status of waiting for manual renewal. And so And the reason why it says manual is because we have selected manual packaging, because I want to be able to take all of these purchase order lines and manually package them onto one purchase order. And so that's why we selected this. The problem that comes from all that is that the next year you have to, after you close out your budget, you have to go and close out, you have to change the status from waiting to closed for each of these.